What happens when one of the most confident voices in hip-hop reaches her absolute breaking point? Just days ago, Cardi B did something that shocked everyone who thought they knew her. She stripped away all the glamour, all the bravado, and let the world see her at her most vulnerable moment. What she revealed in that raw, unfiltered Twitter Spaces session is everyone talking, and honestly, it's impossible to listen to without feeling something deep in your chest. You know Cardi B, yes. The woman who conquered the music industry, who built an empire from nothing, who never backs down from anyone or anything. But the voice we heard breaking down on Twitter Spaces, that was someone completely different. That was a woman who's been carrying the weight of betrayal, jealousy, and relentless attacks. And she finally hit her limit. She wasn't rapping. She wasn't performing. She was just being brutally honest about what it's really like to be her right now. The pain in her voice was unmistakable, as she talked about feeling like her back was against the wall. For 3 straight days, she'd been dealing with something that was eating her alive from the inside. Here's someone who's used to handling everything that comes her way. But this time was different. This time, she couldn't shake it off or push through it like she always does. She was exhausted, emotionally drained, and you could hear it in every word she spoke. What makes this even more heartbreaking is understanding what's been happening behind the scenes. The divorce proceedings with Offset have been brutal, and the rumors about him wanting spousal support, possibly even half of everything she's worked for, have been swirling for weeks. Think about that for a second. Here's a man who allegedly cheated multiple times, who she tried to forgive over and over again. And now, he might be coming after the empire she built with her own blood, sweat, and tears. The injustice of that situation would drive anyone to their breaking point. But what really got to her, what you could hear cutting through her voice like a knife, was the jealousy she's been dealing with. She talked about how some people just don't want peace, how they're battling their own demons. And instead of trying to better themselves, they spend all their energy trying to destroy her. The way she described it, it's like there are people in her life who wake up every single day thinking of new ways to make her miserable, not because she's done anything to them, but because they can't stand to see her succeed. The most chilling part was when she said that some people wouldn't be happy until she was dead, till she was begging in the streets, until she put a gun to her head. Those aren't just words thrown around lightly. That's someone describing what it feels like to be surrounded by people who genuinely wish for your destruction. Can you imagine living with that kind of energy around you? Can you imagine knowing that people who were once close to you are actively working against your peace of mind and your success? What's particularly devastating is how she described trying to be kind, trying to give people chances because that's how she was raised. Her parents are the type of people who believe in second chances, third chances, unlimited chances, but she's realizing that this kindness has become a weakness that people are exploiting. They know she'll forgive. They know she'll try to make peace, and they're using that against her. It's like watching someone's good heart being weaponized against them. Throughout this emotional breakdown, though, something else came through. Even in her darkest moment, even when she was crying and feeling desperate for peace, she wasn't giving up. She talked about having to protect herself, about not letting anyone drive her crazy or put her in a position where she can't provide for her children or live the life she's worked so hard for. That's the fighter in her speaking, even when she's at her lowest point. The timing of all this makes it even more tragic. She should be celebrating right now. Her album is performing incredibly well before it's even officially released. She has what she called a very promising future ahead of her. She's healthy, successful, and at the peak of her career. But instead of basking in these achievements, she's having to deal with people trying to tear her down from the inside. It's like every time something good happens, someone finds a way to pour poison on it. What struck me most was when she talked about being desperate for peace. Think about those words for a moment. Desperate for peace. This is someone who has everything most people dream of, but the one thing she wants most, the one thing money can't buy, is simple peace of mind. She's literally begging the universe for the basic human right to exist, without someone trying to destroy her spirit every single day. The way she described feeling like people were trying to strip her of her energy, her spirit, like vampires, sucking the life out of her. That's not just dramatic language. That's what emotional abuse looks like. That's what it means to be surrounded by people who feed off your pain and grow stronger when you're weak. She's not just dealing with public criticism or industry politics. She's dealing with people in her personal circle who want to see her fall. But here's where Cardi's strength really showed through. Even in her vulnerability, she talked about how God always finds a way, how even when her plans don't work out exactly as she intended, they usually work out even better. She mentioned having prayer warriors for grandmothers and coming from good people, and how she believes she's highly favored. Even in her darkest moment, she was holding on to faith and the belief that good things are coming. The most powerful moment might have been when she warned everyone listening to be careful of the people around them because you never know who's secretly praying for your downfall. She's speaking from experience here, talking about discovering that people she trusted, people she was close to, were actually working against her happiness. That kind of betrayal doesn't just hurt, it changes you. It makes you question everyone and everything around you. What's absolutely infuriating is that while she's dealing with all this internal chaos, she still has to show up for work. She still has to pay everyone's bills, still has to be a mother, still has to maintain her career and her empire, no matter what kind of month she's having. Good or bad, those responsibilities don't disappear. The bills don't stop coming just because someone's trying to destroy your peace of mind. When she talked about jealousy being such a strong emotion, particularly the jealousy she's experiencing from someone so close to her, you could hear the disbelief in her voice. She couldn't understand how someone could be jealous of a person they know has a pure heart, someone who's humble, someone who's a good mother. But that's the thing about jealousy. It doesn't care about your character. It only cares about what you have that they want. The way she broke down her work ethic was particularly moving. She's not out partying every weekend. She's not living the carefree celebrity lifestyle that people imagine. She's working constantly, busting her brain to create great music, dealing with the creative challenges that come with being successful for so long. When you've practically done everything, when you're a perfectionist and extremely creative, coming up with new ideas becomes increasingly difficult. But she keeps pushing herself because that's what real success requires, even in her pain. She acknowledged her blessings. She has millions of people who genuinely love and support her, who buy her music and lift her up when she's down. She recognizes that not everyone has that kind of support system, and she's grateful for it. That level of self-awareness and gratitude in the middle of a breakdown shows the kind of person she really is underneath all the celebrity drama. The most heartbreaking aspect of this entire situation is that she felt the need to apologize for being vulnerable, for needing to talk to someone. She said, "My bad for having to express her feelings," as if being human and needing emotional support was somehow wrong. That right there tells you everything about the pressure she's under and how isolated she must feel in her daily life. What we witnessed wasn't just a celebrity having a moment. It was a human being reaching the end of her rope and finding the courage to be honest about it. In a world where social media demands perfection and constant strength, Cardi B showed us what real strength looks like. Sometimes it's not about being unbreakable. Sometimes it's about breaking down, feeling everything, and then finding the will to keep going anyway. The lesson here isn't just about celebrity drama or relationship troubles. It's about recognizing when you're surrounded by toxic energy and having the courage to protect yourself from it. It's about understanding that some people will never be happy for your success, no matter how deserving you are or how hard you've worked for it. It's about knowing when to stop giving chances to people who don't deserve them and when to prioritize your own peace of mind over being nice to everyone. Most importantly, it's about remembering that vulnerability doesn't make you weak. Cardi B didn't look weak in that moment, even though she was crying and breaking down. She looked like someone who was tired of carrying everyone else's negativity and finally ready to put herself first. She looked like someone who was done protecting people who wouldn't hesitate to destroy her if given the chance. This raw, unfiltered moment reminded us all that behind every success story, behind every empire built from nothing, there's a human being dealing with very human problems. Money and fame don't protect you from betrayal, jealousy, or heartbreak. If anything, they make those problems more complicated and more painful because the stakes are higher and the consequences are more public. Cardi B's breakdown on Twitter Spaces wasn't just entertainment or gossip fodder. It was a masterclass in honesty, a reminder that mental health matters regardless of your bank account, and proof that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit when you're not okay. She didn't just bare her soul for attention, she did it because she needed to be heard, needed to release some of that poison that was eating her alive, and needed to connect with people who might understand what she's going through. In a world full of fake perfection, that kind of authenticity is not just refreshing, it's necessary.